have the title. You got the title, so.
My title, it has nothing to do with relevance.
There you go.
Well, it was in the list.
Karen?
So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I did not understand that email.
Which one?
The last one, like there was an email thread with Leo.
Oh, he basically was just, it was an email back and forth, so I just forwarded the whole thing.
But the whole thing like
It
was
made no
unsatisfying.
sense.
It made,
I know.
yeah, I was just like, what?
So it's his surveyor emailed him and said they didn't get a chance to go out because of the so many feet of snow that we got, which is understandable.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have a plan for natural heritage, therefore they don't have a plan for us. And he apologized for.
Okay. I just didn't get all of that out
Yeah,
of the thread.
that's,
So,
that's what
okay.
it was. So I apologize on that.
Okay.
So.
Is it?
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Just don't read the specific to the parcel, because you have to open the.
No, but can I without, we don't have quorum.
Oh, so we don't even have to open it?
I don't.
It's just discussion.
I
You're right.
don't think we can.
You're right.
until we have a quorum.
Okay. So to anyone watching, I apologize, but our chair, Brian, could not be here. And our other member, Jeff Bryan, could not be here either, so we don't have a quorum, but we will hold it open to discussion as the applicants come in. The first applicant.
Can we do that?
What?
I mean, without a quorum, like, can we actually do anything?
We can't take any action, but we can. Brian
Answer
said
questions
we just
or-
answer questions,
Okay.
yeah. So we can't open
Okay.
or close hearings, but it's just simply any
Okay.
questions, discussion that way.
So,
So the first applicant won't be here because he's requested a continuance.
okay.
Until we have the survey information. We can't vote on the order of conditions. The draft, is that in here? Hi, how are you? Hi.
Hey.
Hi, Lori. Nice to meet
Hi.
you. Nice to meet you. Finally. So we have a bit of a situation.
Do we? Okay.
Yeah, no quorum.
Oh.
So welcome.
That's okay.
You picked a great one.
It's gonna be short.
okay.
Pretty good. Did you have a good fall?
Yeah, it could have been better.
Oh, well,
Here,
yeah,
let's-
that's best season.
It wasn't the best season now.
Mhm. You had sent the draft for Sawyer Road,
Oh, yeah, I do have.
and there was a seed mix attached, a proposed planting.
Yeah, and I'll turn on one.
So we also did get the Fisheries and Wildlife, Natural Heritage response, they said there wasn't any outstanding concerns. That's the drafted order. I don't know if Karen wants to see it. And this is the seed mix too. Or Lori.
This is to stabilize a 2-to-1 slope.
Okay. This on,
Soil.
soil?
Oh, yeah, they're actually.
Smaller. Which jurisdiction?
Okay.
Just on that.
This hasn't changed from the one that you sent out?
Nope.
Okay, all right, I didn't read it. I didn't realize there was a common sneeze weed.
Yeah.
It's a great name. That says it all.
Sharon, were you able to go out on?
No, I wasn't.
Okay,
I
so
totally
that's fine
meant
anyways.
to connect with Brian and we were gonna do it and I just didn't get out there. Do you know on these kind of, they have like a disclaimer at the bottom of this just saying it could change at any time. Is it really, like, sure, they can say this is what it is, but does it always change?
No, it doesn't always change. I mean,
Okay.
well, what do you mean, does it
Well, it just
change?
says that, you know,
Like what's
they may
in the
modify
mix?
seed mixes at any time, depending on seed availability. And I just wondered, like, is this sort of like, oh, maybe you'll get this, or
That's
you
probably,
may-
Yeah.
that's probably what's in it and what actually you get. It'll be a combination of whatever's there.
Right.
Oh,
So
I
whatever's
see. All right,
left.
all right.
you
So
have-
this is the
you have all
superset
those-
of things, so
yeah,
we'll get some
and you
subset
will
of
get
it. Okay.
something which will.
So, we have to apologize. We don't have a quorum tonight, obviously. So if you have any questions, you can ask them, and we can answer them, but we can't actually vote on it tonight.
Okay.
Sorry. And we just found out while I was in the parking lot, so I didn't get a chance to.
What's it for?
message.
One more person?
So four people,
4.
and I don't count, so, unfortunately.
Well, we got got passed by the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries.
Right, yeah, which is good.
And you guys pretty much agreed with everything we were doing last time.
Right, yeah.
The 2 questions I had, my wife wants to know conservation mix, whether she gets any, is that something you just buy at Home Depot, or is there a special place to go? Can
So-
you like pick the flowers you like?
Yeah, so Dan had actually emailed us this.
Okay.
I don't know if that's what you were talking about, and that's for the slope specifically.
Right.
But you're welcome if you find other seed mixes. And actually, I think on Mass Wildlife, they have links to seed mixes as well
Okay.
that you can purchase through them.
The thing that she liked the most is Black-Eyed Susan, and I see that there.
Oh. There you
You're
go.
most likely not gonna find it at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Okay.
You might find it at, what's it, the one in, Garden Ward's place.
see.
Oh, the Framingham.
Yeah, I don't know if they sell seed mixes or
I
not.
don't wanna say they, or I'm mistaken, it's not on Mass Wildlife, it's on their website. And
Garden
there's a
in the
link
Woods.
from Mass Wildlife to their website.
What's the name of the place?
It's Garden in the Woods, it's on the Framingham board, Sudbury line,
Mhm.
and it's all, New England species, that they, plants, if you ever wanna go to a plant sale and buy New England stuff, that's where
Right.
you go. And they probably have a seed mix that.
It was kind of our plan too,
Yeah.
is to
Mhm.
buy things that are local, so we have to
Local.
do as little as possible to
That's
take
right,
care of
yeah,
it.
which Home Depot, you're not gonna find one of those, they're gonna sell you something with high maintenance.
And the second question that I
Sure.
had is you were talking about the fill
Yep.
and how it needed to be, not have any invasive species and stuff.
Right.
What's that?
Yeah, I was just saying.
And do you have places that you would say you need to get it here, 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 or here?
No.
Or can I go anywhere and then someone would have to come out and check it, or how does that work?
You can go anywhere, it's just maintaining it so there's not, as the invasives start establishing themselves, you're
Mhm.
cutting them back. Or also making sure it's clean fill, meaning there's no rebar in it or anything like that. Most places don't have it,
Right.
but I've seen really dirty fill, I guess I'll term it
Okay.
that way. But, I mean, unless you
Yeah,
have a
and when we
suggestion.
were on site, I guess one of the concerns was, obviously we're trying to mitigate erosion here.
Right.
Right, that's the goal with this planting schedule.
Right.
And if you get fill that has invasive species in it, like knotweed,
Mhm.
it's going to choke out all the plants that are on that list. That's
Sure.
what invasives do.
Mm.
And then the point of controlling the erosion on that slope into the wetland is rendered.
Yeah, I was just
is rendered
wondering if there
useless.
was, a grade A,
Sort of
B, C,
preferred
D
place.
fill or something like that, and a grade B is what you needed, or I wasn't quite sure how that worked.
Yep.
But basically just go there and essentially look for fill without rebar.
Right.
Yeah, actually, yes,
Just clean
definitely
fill.
clear with your site guy and just say, hey, this fill is going in a
Right.
wetlands buffer area. Tell them that you have
Right.
an order of conditions from the Bolton Conservation Commission,
Mhm.
and as part of the order, I need clean fill free of non-invasive species, and they'll know where their dirt's coming from.
Mhm.
They'll be able to tell you. Yep.
Well, are these people typically honest? I have no idea.
I mean, you can tell if there's, demolition debris in
Certainly,
it, for sure.
certainly, yeah, sure,
So
certainly.
on that aspect, I mean, you can just use common sense, but in terms of the invasive species, for the most part, I like to believe people are honest, but again, use your best judgment.
So that's gonna be mostly up to me after the fact,
Yeah.
more than before the fact.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think if you ask the question, let your site guy know that you have an order of conditions. and
Right.
part of the jurisdictional, right? Yep.
Okay, so no quorum, which means no pass. 2 weeks from now, there's another meeting, is that the case?
March 7th?
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that point, if you go ahead and pass it, then there's still another 10-day waiting period that the neighbors could complain about this.
Yep.
Okay.
But in that 10-day period, you can get it recorded,
Right.
so you can be all set up to go.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
All right.
I don't know, oh, I'll get you in.
Yeah, you can. The alarm doesn't go off, you're just not supposed to.
Okay.
Unless there's a silent one. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Nobody responded last time, put it that way.
Yeah.
How are you today, Fred?
Oh, just
Excellent.
Does he need
How
to
about
be
you
here for
folks?
the next
We're doing
meeting?
good. You know, we don't,
If all he's gonna be is
we don't have a
voting?
quorum tonight, so we're not voting on
Not
anything.
necessarily, but they're still presenting just some slight updates, so. Seth,
Hi.
how are you?
Good, how are you?
We don't have a quorum tonight, so we still need you to present a couple of
Yeah, I
additions,
can do
but,
that quickly then.
yeah. So you
It's good
can
for you
just-
guys.
Wait, do you wanna do it now? Is that, do we have to wait?
7:30. Give it a couple minutes just in case.
Sure.
More people, right?
Yeah, surprised.
It's not as busy.
Yeah.
Hey Fred, are you here for 401 meeting?
Roland Main Skinner Farm, Old Skinner Farm?
Nancy was at the last meeting.
Is it? Good stuff.
Did we schedule something to go look at that blueberry expansion?
Hmm?
We s-
Karen and Brian, we're gonna get together and do.
Yeah, we did, but.
Well, we had
When?
2 feet of snow in the past 2 weeks as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not the reason.
Yeah.
We just didn't coordinate.
What is the blueberry bushes?
Oh, the Marianne?
At, Janet Johnson's. They're outside of the, 100-foot buffer. And it's just expanding, I think. She said 1 row on either side, horizontally, and then going, I have the measurements for it, but basically just filling that space.
Yeah.
On either side to make sure that's not encroaching.
Mm-hmm. Bluebirds do like it, little.
Oh, yeah.
yesterday off.
Perfect.
Yeah. You guys shoveled out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost melted out.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to worry about ice dams, but
Mm.
all better.
Mhm.
So when did you send out the agenda?
It should have been
Like,
at about, hold on, I'll think of the time in a second.
you just missed it.
I didn't see it.
It should have been right after I sent the emails with Leo. Or about Leo. It's also possible that it might have never sent.
I did get the.
Because I had about 4 emails at the same time, to be 100% honest, but.
Hmm.
Because I sent that one, I sent 2 that were forwarded, I think it was Seth's, and then it was Leo's, and then there were 2 more, well, 1 more along with the agenda was with it too. I'm trying to think what the other one was.
I must have inadvertently deleted it, I just didn't see it. I mean, I have other ones.
I'll be able to check tomorrow morning, but it's still
Yeah.
up on my computer.
I mean, I got a bunch of emails from you, so I had no trouble getting them, but.
Yeah.
Just surprised.
I'll check.
What do you say? We close enough?
Yeah.
4 minutes?
Yeah.
I can talk long enough that we'll go into that threshold.
Okay.
Once it shows up, we can start scratch. So I did send over a couple plans. I'll give you some hard copies for the record. There's not much change on it. We got a review letter from NHESP, and they indicated that it will not be a take or adversely affect their interest for a period of 5 years, given the current scope of the project. DEP also gave us a minor comment questioning if the seed mix in the mitigation area was the best one that could be chosen, given the potential for it to be shady once it's established. And so we switched that from, it was a roadside upland matrix mix to a logging road restoration mix. We did that on the plan, and the other change, we had optimistically or reasonably hoped that we would be able to remove some of the timber debris under frozen conditions, and that appears to be disappearing at this time. So we've added notes, section E on the plan, which specifies that the area, the existing debris are to be cut, put in a wheelbarrow, moved to outside of the mitigation area, and then they can be put in a trailer or a loader and either chipped on site, as that's kind of the applicant's preference, or they could be properly disposed of off-site, whichever is better. So those were the biggest changes. I've been over the site a little bit. There were a lot of issues that came up last time that were, some of them were outside the scope of what we applied for. But we did take a look at the parking areas, and generally where the people are parking is outside the buffer zone and along the established access ways to the site. And the applicant didn't really want to get into specifying all that now, as they're still working some things out with the other boards and what could be done long-term with the site. And he doesn't want it to come back for something that's really not established yet. And as it's been documented, the trailer has been specified as temporary, and that would be a good spot to be utilized for parking, as it's got an existing temporary structure there, and it's outside the buffer zones as well, and riverfront area. So that's a summary of the few changes that we came up with. I haven't really received any written comments. I know there were a lot of concerns, but I can certainly, if anything was voiced to you that would be appropriate to address now, I'm happy to go through those. I can also summarize those again at the 7:30 hour if you guys need to.
Appreciate that. What was the timing, Seth, of the removal of that stockpile material? Is that something that's going to happen as soon as the order is issued, or something that we're waiting until the spring? Ideally, that material would be removed before you plant.
Yes, yes, it should specify that's done before it's planted. And in the notes, we're specifying that compaction of the soil is a concern in that area, as we're really not specifying grading any of that area now. We're just leaving it as is and planting it. So we would like to, if the order can certainly specify that it would be prior to establishing the plantings, that would be removed. And the erosion barrier would be in place prior to any of the cutting or removal as well. And we specify that extra straw wattle should be on site during that time period too, just because there's no plantings there. If it is an unexpected rain event, then those should be in place to kind of shore up what's been installed. And I assume the order would specify as well that there'd be an inspection by you of the erosion barriers once they're in place and established.
Right, prior to any work
Yeah.
done, that's typically, basically just the burn plate and what you can expect. We also, Andrew was in today and just dropped off, basically the manure removal agreement that he has. So I don't know, it's basically just what he's told us at the site visit, but just in writing, so we have it on record. And we can specify to keep it out of the buffer area, because right now it's kind of on the line, so. And that's just relevant to this, because before it was stockpiled right next to it. So.
I'm not part of those discussions, so.
I know, I'm
you
just
can-
saying, yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
understand.
I can step aside while you guys go through that then.
Yeah.
And if there are any questions, I'm happy to address them.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Seth. Is once a month enough? Is that typical?
no. So that's something where I think the last sentence says it can be more frequent if necessary, so I think that's something that can be conditioned, if the commission deems necessary. But in terms of the planting, I mean, I really don't have any questions on the restoration work, it's pretty straightforward.
I sent you over the estimate for it as well, didn't I?
Yes, that's in your
I know that was one of the
packets.
things that was requested. so.
Yeah, Brian wanted to take a look at that too. Does anyone from the audience want to speak on the restoration planting that's proposed?
No, I don't think so. Not on the
Okay.
restoration plan.
Uh,
So this, regarding the manure removal though, this means that that composting operation would cease?
Yeah, so in the corner of the property, it's right on, it's literally right on the edge of the buffer in the corner of the property.
Which corner are you talking
The corner close to Burnham Road.
about? Okay, that's what I thought. Right by the trails.
Right.
Yes, yep. So he would either do one of two things. He would move it outside the buffer for temporary storage and or just have it picked up more frequently. But like I said, that's something that the commission would condition once we do have a quorum. Which I apologize tonight, we don't, you missed
Yeah,
that
I'm sorry.
conversation.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yes, so as far as the manure removal and maintenance goes, that's what we would be asking about.
Can I just ask, is it that they do not have, that you've got what he has written from what he said as opposed to having an actual contract from a company that does the manure removal?
Yep, so just like, well, it depends on the size, it depends on what's going on the property.
Yep.
A recent applicant just simply printed out the service she was using, and then we basically added that as a supplement to the order of conditions, and you just check to make sure you
Right,
follow
right.
up on it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that's the piece I was wondering about. If you
Okay.
don't have a written contract from the company, and how do you police that if you don't?
Right,
Sure.
so that actually is from the company.
Oh, it
From
is,
the
okay,
farm,
got
yeah.
that.
It's not a,
Okay, I thought it was just what.
It's not like a
what
memo, no.
Mr. Lappin had written out himself. I got it.
And would this be a dumpster that's located between
So
Burnham?
that's something we'll be conditioning as well.
With the shielding required by town zoning laws?
That's not relevant to our our commission, so if they put a dumpster there and that's something that they need, Board of Health or building inspector would have that in place.
Just to give you the history, they had a dumpster, we're next to their current composting site.
Oh, yeah, yep.
And we filed a request for zoning enforcement.
Yep.
Because our zoning laws don't allow dumpsters to be just in plain view, commercial
Right.
dumpsters.
Yep, so
This
that,
would-
that would be something, and/or he may propose a different type of container that's more visibly appealing. I'm
Mhm.
not sure, but, until the commission conditions it, we can't really say, but we can't require him to put up fencing because it's not, yeah.
Everybody's doing this.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I know.
Crossover.
Should
But,
we-
you know, a dumpster means you need some type of pad.
Right.
Yeah.
Something
And
to
then
put it on.
then
Right,
there's
so you
gonna
can
be
put on like a
additional
gravel pad.
Truck traffic to
Right.
pull the dump.
Right,
So,
to get it out, yeah. Yeah,
You know, as a butter, I think you have to,
yep,
if you have any thoughts on that.
yeah, we have to be on top of it, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Did the commission members have any questions for Seth?
I'll just recap at
Just
your
say-
next meeting, you'll let me know when the next meeting is, when you have
Yes.
quorum, and we'll recap those changes, and hopefully, if it's appropriate at that time, we can wrap things up for this.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for making those adjustments and coming tonight, even though. Sorry,
Oh,
you
no,
have
it's all right.
more. But yeah, so if anyone has more questions, we can continue with that, but we can let you go, I guess.
Yeah. And I think we would look to make a vote on the 7th of March.
Yep.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Sam.
Do you have any other questions relative to wetland jurisdiction?
No, I don't think regarding the wetlands. I think the only other concern, it may not be relevant to you guys, but one of the other issues we have as butters is where the driveway exits from the property, because it creates a real safety hazard. So it could be sometime we might be asking for the driveway exit to be relocated, which could affect conservation issues with the wetlands buffer, because everything is so tight to this
Yeah,
property.
yeah, I think,
It's almost impossible to do one thing without affect something else.
yeah, if they were to shift the driveway over, because you're talking about the Burnham Road side.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
If they were to
Exits,
shift it over,
right.
it'd be closer to the house and outside the buffer, so
Right.
that would probably be better.
Well, they have an exit already, but it's on the other side of the house, on the east side of the house.
Right, right.
But on the west side, they can't really relocate because they have a
Either
septic
the
field.
stone wall or the septic.
Oh, I see, okay.
The septic field is on that side of the house.
Okay.
The only other way to have two exits would be to locate it farther down Burnham Road, because right now, they come out of that driveway and just go shooting right
They
across
cut
the mouth.
across.
Cut across to head on 117 westbound. We've had two people on Burnham Road say they've almost had accidents when they've been turning on Burnham, right when a car just shoots across without yielding at all.
Right, right.
And, you know, the volume of traffic in there is enough that it's a concern, so.
Sure.
Especially after this Saturday.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of people, huh?
Yeah, there
Well,
were.
they had memorial service on Saturday. Burnham Road and Long Hill Road were effectively impassable.
Unpassable.
We drove by, it was amazing, the amount of cars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank thank God there was no fire truck or ambulance needed, we would have been in trouble.
Again, not
Or that
the
Dottie
ordinance.
didn't have to drive her bus.
Dottie drives my daughter.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
excellent.
She was steaming. She was very, because she drives every weekend, so it would have been crazy if she had had to get the bus down there, it wouldn't have worked.
Mhm.
It was barely 1 lane wide
Mhm.
Yeah.
between cars on both sides of the road, including on Long Hill, which is dangerous even with no parked cars on the side. God. Whatever.
Planning board, isn't it?
Yeah, and the police were there.
Please, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Fine.
yeah. I think we're good.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, thanks for
Thank you.
calling.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
No, I was over there before and through almost.
Oh, you were?
I didn't interact with her, just with the dog.
Yeah.
Oh, you were over there,
I was there getting a signature.
I don't think you want me.
Oh, she was there.
You don't want your name on
No.
She signed.
You can even sign a lot of them, I don't want to.
Oh, okay. And did you ask about the?
Yes, that's why I sent a letter to the, email to the two of you.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I forgot all that.
I just asked.
Oh.
Can I get to sit around till 8 or something for the next one?
that. Have a good night.
Need a book?
Oh, if you're looking at packets, we can go over this now, the Conservation Trails sign manual. This would be something that I don't think necessarily needs to be approved by the commission, but, I just wanted, again, to be as open with everything that's going on as possible. So I figured I would share it with the commission.
Yeah, and this was a document, actually, last year Bob Norman was going through all the trust archives and found the original from 2003
Wow.
and sent it to me. And it was wildly outdated.
Yeah.
To where they were actually painting blazes on trees, which is something that we don't do.
No.
Right,
No.
so given the amount of activity and improvements going on, I thought that it would be in everyone's best interest, both the trust and the town, to get something
Have you uniform ones
updated.
at both?
Yes,
Yeah.
yep, and something that meets, today's initiatives and today's standards.
Mhm.
Yep. So the trust has seen this, and they've commented. We were actually making changes today, right up until about 2 o'clock.
And then speaking of trail work, I guess this is just an estimated cost and looking forward to basically just restocking the container in upcoming projects or updating different kiosks or the Eagle Scout projects that are coming up. So I don't know if you want to take a look at that. I know, Jeff, you've already seen it.
Oh, this one.
It's just basically,
This is, okay,
go ahead.
yep, so this is, this is specific to the Eagle Scout project
Yeah.
at First Baptist Church.
Right.
Where the Reverend is working with Troop 1 to actually solidify the trails that are on Lot 44. Which doesn't seem like a big deal, but right now it's the only connection point between Town Common and Potter House is across private property. And although the trails are there, it's an informal trail agreement. And the pastor's in support of sort of,
Is that church property?
it is,
Okay.
yep, yep, in support of memorializing the trail system back there through the Eagle Scout project. So talking about, some additional maps, some additional signage, and the possibility of installing a kiosk. So we had just put together a budget based on the new kiosk that went into Vaughan Hills.
Kiosk go. Where would the kiosk go?
At the trailhead, right behind the parking lot. You know,
Right
there's that
there.
grass field behind that bank of parking spaces.
That's like a big septic mound?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
behind there.
Oh, right there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right behind there. So not to say that we're looking for the commission to pay for the kiosk, but it was more to help the candidate understand the costs that are involved.
Yeah.
You know, and if we had materials in stock that could satisfy some things, you know, I feel like there's a big benefit to having the church work with the candidate, having these
Yeah.
segments memorialized for access between those two conservation properties.
It was also so that, because going through and seeing what we have in the container and what we've used on various properties for different things, whether it be Eagle Scouts or whether it be a group of volunteers going out to do different projects, I wasn't sure the cost of each item or each grouping of supplies, so that helped sort of just lay it out for me as well in terms of budgeting and when we were creating the budget.
Absolutely.
And as we're sort of nearing the end of the fiscal year as well.
Yep.
Also, I'm trying to remember what I was just gonna say.
Is it one trail that leads from one to the other, or is there multiple?
So the segments that are in orange
Mhm.
are on lot 44, which
Yeah.
is First Baptist Church. And the candidate is talking about the possibility, this sort of dead ends here,
Mhm.
of bringing this around and tying it into town common to create a loop,
Okay, yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, the possibility of making it, you know, like senior citizen friendly.
Mhm. Nice.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's an important piece, and unfortunately, because it's a ties this property, I just never seen that putting an easement in the deed.
Yeah.
You know, so what we can do now, you know, to sort of formalize the agreement
Mhm.
through this project, I think the better.
That's a nice idea.
So you, Lori, we're not here, but at the last meeting, Karen and Jeff, do you guys remember Ken had come and was asking that the commission potentially assist or pay for the survey for Camp Virginia to sort
Right.
of start the appraisal process? That being said, he had called me earlier today about a grant that would take care of that cost. So the commission wouldn't have to be spending money. Sudbury Valley Trust, who's working on it as well, wouldn't have to be spending money on it either. So that whole risk assessment, I guess, of the process would be taken out completely.
Mhm.
And he asked that I ask the commission if we would like to sign off on it, because they could draft it, and again, no funds would need to be transferred, but it would just need to be signed by a town department to basically push it forward, because it's a small town or small community grant. And I can forward you that information tomorrow, but I
So,
thought that'd be
so
a
by
nice
having the commission
alternative, but-
sign off on it, we're the ones who are actually requesting it, is that?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So in that, again, I said I'd bring it forward and ask, but, and it's specific to small community, small town grant, that's why he's not able to just sign off it as a
Mhm.
private,
Right.
organization or private individual.
Interesting. It's a state grant.
Yep.
Any discussion or indication as to whether we would possibly get it?
It seemed likely because Sudbury Valley Trust had suggested it when they came across it, and it had come across my desk today as well, just through the email spurts that I get. And prior to the call, I actually was planning on reading it tomorrow when I got to it, to see if it were applicable to Bolton, because it seemed in the summary that I had read that we would be able to be competitive in it.
Mhm.
But
How much is it for?
I think it was pretty.
yeah, it was enough to cover the
Mhm.
survey, so it
Yeah.
had to be over 8.
Yeah, I guess my initial concern would be if we're filing, is that the first step towards us paying? Meaning, if you do apply and you don't get it.
Right, so there are other
then
concerns.
Is the ball in our court, and are we now sort of expected or liable to pick up the tab? Which is why I asked, I don't know if it makes sense to call whoever's writing the land grant, talk it over with them, and say, is this something that we even have a chance at getting?
Right, so I've talked to both Sudbury Valley Trust and then the representative from the state who awards the grants.
You did?
Yep,
Okay.
I was there during that meeting, and she seemed to think that, I mean, the land grant and the Parks and Rec grant are both very competitive. And she was saying the smartest way to go about it was to subdivide the property so that you could apply for parks and land. But when you subdivide, you have to have 100-car parking, which doesn't have to be paved lots, you have to fit 10 cars there. I mean 100 cars. But she was saying that because of those regulations, that's not the right word, but you are placed against the larger communities, so you're no longer going against small communities. Whereas if you apply for only one to keep the parcel whole, you're still going against smaller communities.
On the conservation side, not on the park and rec side?
Yes.
Got it. Interesting.
Yeah, so there's
Is that
all
what
different
it
ways.
is?
Huh?
Is that what it looks like?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's still quite a few things to look at, I think, with that,
Okay.
and to consider, regardless, I think, of the way it ends up going.
Hmm.
But he asked that I just bring it up and run it by you. And then the open space plan is going well. We're in motion with that. We've hired a GIS professional, I don't want to say consultant, but that's really the term used, to complete the maps. We have 3 that are done already. And I was just editing one today and just adding in a couple properties that weren't in yet. But as far as the document goes, it's been coming along well. We got the survey results back, so we're adding those into the work. And those will be posted online after the annual town meeting when the open space plan is presented. So, exciting things. So were there any questions on Green End Road?
I didn't get out there and get a look.
Okay.
But it doesn't sound like a problem, just based on how it was described.
Yeah.
They're gonna pop a couple holes and.
Yeah, exactly. It's really minimal.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, how many bushes does she have?
I want to say she has about 30 now,
Yeah.
maybe.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a few, but
Yeah, that's not a big.
not excessive.
Not commercial.
No.
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 Right? And I guess a real focus on organic
Yep.
Uh-huh.
from the conversation she's been having with Rebecca. So.
Yeah, I can't think of where she actually farmed, but she had an organic farm.
Mhm.
I want to say it was New Hampshire or Vermont. I could be totally
Yeah.
off though, but she's done it on a larger scale before, it
Mhm.
seems, so.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, blueberries aren't a big problem. It's more of a new insect
Right.
that likes to lay its eggs inside them, but,
Mhm.
yeah.
Any other questions or topics that, oh, in March, there is the annual conference on March 4th. So if anyone wants to go to that, shoot me an email or tell me now and I can sign you up. There's a couple different options. If you want to get, if you need units done for the MECC, and then there's different workshops during the day, so I don't know if anyone wants to look at that. And then on March 22nd, the Conservation Department in town is gonna host a reading at the library, a small
I saw
activity
that.
for World Water Day, which is fun. Pretty sure.
You're doing the reading,
Yep.
so we should come on Hector.
Yeah. Yeah. No, please come if you want. I'm sure the kids would love to meet everyone.
What's the
Do
age
you wanna
group?
help with the activity?
Do you have an idea of the
4
age
and
group?
up.
4 and up?
Yep. So it'll be
Scary.
interesting.
4-year-olds are scary.
Oh, yeah. No, I've been in charge of brownies before
Have
and
you?
daisies, so. On top of all the little cousins and nieces, so. I think I'm okay with it. I'm trying to think. In terms of other things coming up, that's really it. I'm gonna try and plan a couple, trail walks, whether they're in, as the weather stays a little bit nicer and a little bit lighter during the day, and either do afternoon trail walks on different properties or, on the weekend, pick a day and do that, but I haven't been able to schedule those yet. But that's my plan. Anyone need to talk about anything else? Or are we all set? Do I need to wave at the camera again? Is it shut off?
You can just leave, there's no.